Pokemon. Gotta catch some of them. Am I right? Hi, I'm TheMentok. You probably know me for more of my popular works such as Sonic AMV, Gangster's Paradise, and did Paramount copy my Sonic video?
The answer is yes.
Today I'll be covering the Pokemon controversy. Now to get to the root of the problem of the Pokémon Sword and Shield this is not the first time that Pokemon has gone under fire for their series, but this time it's certainly the loudest. We can't get away from all these complaints and memes, but I want to explain it to you. I want to summarize it for my children today. So this started back in February when there was a Nintendo Direct revealing Pokemon Sword and Shield. The complaints weren't that loud then. People were like, oh, I'm just trying to get out of Gen 7 already. There were a few people who realized the graphics were a little suspect, but shit didn't hit the fan yet, no. No, it was only months later until there was a Pokemon Direct, which I covered a little bit in a previous video. I wasn't too upset with what we got, but this is not about my opinion. This is about the facts. So, the day before, the Pokemon Home service was announced, which is basically a cloud service that allows you to transfer your Pokemon from point A to point B. So if you had their previous Pokemon cloud service, called Pokemon Bank, you can transfer all those Pokemon from Pokemon Bank, as well as the Gen 7 games, into Pokemon Home. And that would be a new cloud service for your Pokemon to thrive and roam about. Little did everyone know that they would be stuck there once they're in there. Yeah, that's right. So Gen 8 was announced, and not all Pokemon are gonna make it into the game. People are questioning if there was gonna be a presence of a national Pokédex. Now, this is a tradition. Over each generation after Gen 1, you unlock a national Pokédex in the endgame, which allowed you to actually collect all the Pokemon. And you would have it from number 1 Bulbasaur to whatever was the end Pokemon at the end of that respective generation. This would be the first game that would lack the national Pokédex. People were furious. Based on what we know, you won't be able to transfer a certain Pokemon into Gen 8. People were always allowed to have access to their Pokemon from previous games before that. But some are gonna get snipped. They're gonna get the Scizor. They're gonna get the Scythe. They're gonna get... Unfortunately, some Pokemon are gonna get the HM01, if you know what I'm saying. So after GameFreak gave this nice big middle finger to their fans, everyone was pissed off and it trended like wildfire. And to add insult to injury, they mentioned that these Pokemon were not going to be in the game because they wanted to focus on more dynamic animations for the Pokemon that were going to be in the game. People said, okay, well, we can expect some beautiful animations, and there's going to be animations for the moves that the Pokemon use, and it's going to be beautiful. Then we saw the trailer again, and people were more upset. So after this big middle finger to the fans, GameFreak kind of took a step back. During E3, we found out in future generations of Pokemon, we never may see all of the Pokemon in one game again. But we will see some of our favorite Pokemon sooner or later. That's what they said, which sounds like a very lukewarm response to me, don't you think? So of course, with the fury of the internet came all the memes comparing the graphics to Ocarina of Time. You had people looking at water and comparing it to oil. You had people looking at all the animations that were shown in the trailer and basically trashing them to hell and back because you had the double kick by the main starter in the game, Score Bunny, and it's a simple hop. So now people are assuming that GameFreak is being lazy and complacent, and they know that their game's gonna print money anyway, so why put in the extra effort to make an amazing game and just make a simple Pokemon game instead? You also had people assuming that their most favorite obscure Pokemon wouldn't be in it. And then the Maractus fans found some relief when they found their favorite little cactus Pokemon roaming around in the streets of Galar. But on a more serious note, the anger the fans were expressing, were pretty much asking Nintendo and GameFreak and the Pokemon Company to move this game back. It felt like they put more pressure on expanding the Pokemon as a franchise rather than their own Gen 8's game. And people are getting tired of the complacency, tired of the excuses, and our boys at GameFreak clapped back in the most hilarious statement, and their response was thus. Alright. They put out a statement saying, "Thank you to our fans for caring so deeply about Pokemon. We've read all your comments and appreciate your love and passion. But just like all of you, we're passionate about Pokemon, and each every one of them is important to us. We're pouring our hearts in this game, so look forward to it." What was the point of even just putting that out? It's like, I've acknowledged your presence, fans, and we are not changing a damn thing. So the release date was not pushed back. We are getting Pokemon as it is, and you are gonna like it. But you do have a lot of Pokemon fans defending GameFreak and saying this actually looks like a good product. We're not worried about it. The quality is gonna come. Animations are hard for over 800, 900 Pokemon models. But on the other side, you have people who are critical, longtime Pokemon fans that want dedicated models that push the Switch to its limits. People look at Breath of the Wild as the quintessential Switch game, and the fact that it can put out so much power on the Switch device, they're thinking that Pokemon could have done the same. There's a lot of other reasons that this effort could have been split up. GameFreak's trying to work on more projects. They have a game in the works called Town, which I haven't seen much of since. Maybe there's more news out. I haven't confirmed it at this point in time, but it actually does look like more passion was put into that game versus Pokémon Sword and Shield. I expect 7s and 8s for Pokémon Sword and Shield, but the thing is, this controversy does put in perspective that Pokemon is getting a little too big to hold itself. They're transferring from more passion from the games themselves to more mobile-esque games. I think Pokemon Go was probably the most successful Pokemon game ever released, and we can't debate that no matter how you feel about that game. And so I think they're gonna double down on that market. And at this point, these generations are probably just used to release another set of Pokemon that they can use for monetary gain in other avenues like merchandise, lifestyle applications, and games for mobile phones strictly. And I think that's where they plan on getting their money from in the future. If GameFreak continues to develop the Pokemon games, I think with each generation, we're gonna get more and more controversy if we don't see major change in the scale of the game itself. I'm not saying that it looks like a huge disappointment, but it does look like it may have the tendency to err a little bit on the lazy side, especially with all these animations being shown that have been a complete disappointment to fans overall. And I do think Pokemon fans, like myself, deserve to be a little bit upset with some of the decisions that GameFreak is making with this particular generation. They do have a much wider audience to work with the Switch right now. Please leave some comments below on what you think about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Will you be buying it release day? You gonna wait for reviews, or are you skipping it entirely? What's your favorite Pokemon, and do you think it's gonna be in it? Anyway, that'll do it for this video, my children. As always, the Prophet has spoken.